The first electric Cadillac Escalade is definitely not icky, even if its name is. The Escalade IQ isn't just a battery-powered version of the Escalade, it's an all-new, unique model. Its unusual name comes from Cadillac's new naming convention for its electric vehicles like the Lyriq, the Optic, the Vistic, and the Celestiq. But in this case, it decided to separate the IQ from the word Escalade because Escalade is such a strong brand on its own. But if you put them together and say it out loud, you might find out another reason why it wouldn't work. It is based on the same platform as the GMC Hummer EV, Chevrolet Silverado EV, and GMC Sierra EV, but it's obviously been very luxed up. Has a starting price just over $130,000, which puts it just above the regular Escalade on the price scale, but this top of the line Sport One is more than $150,000, which gets it close to the high performance Escalade V. While the Escalade IQ isn't really a sports model, it's got enough power to be one. Comes standard with an all-wheel drivetrain rated at 750 horsepower and 785 pound-feet of torque. That's a lot more than the Escalade V supercharged V8, which is rated 680 horsepower and 615 pound-feet of torque. But its really big number is 460. That's the estimated range this will go between charges. And from what I found in testing, it lives up to it. It's not to say there's a lot of magic involved in that. This has an enormous battery pack with more than 200 kilowatt hours of capacity that weighs about 3,000 pounds, which really explains why they gave this so much power. So one of the most luxurious features on this vehicle is its power doors. Just tap the button on the handle and they open. Give it a little push and they close. And check this out. If something's in front of them, like yourself or a pole, and you hit that button, they have sensors and they stop. You can open them up the rest of the way. And then when you get in the car, all you have to do is step on the brake pedal and they close for you. But better than that, once this stops making some noise, you can just go to the screen and control all the doors from here. Just give it a tap and a swipe, and there you go. Chivalry has never been so easy. This has a very fast charging system that can operate at rates up to 350 kilowatts, which General Motors says means you can get 100 miles worth of electricity in 10 minutes, but you're probably looking at more like 45 if you want to fill the battery to 80%. And you can use it not just at a regular DC fast charging station, but also now at the Tesla Supercharger network by using one of these adapters and the My Cadillac app. Regardless of how long your charging session is, this is not a bad place to wait it out at all. It's easily Cadillac's nicest interior, except maybe for the $340,000 Celestiq. The upholstery is synthetic leather, but it's very convincing and very nice. And you've got this ginormous 55-inch digital display with an instrument cluster and 2 touch screens. Now this has the Google built-in system, so you have to load your apps into the vehicle and log into them there. It doesn't have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto smartphone integration, which does take some getting used to if you've been using those. But once you got everything set up, you get used to this pretty quickly as well. And the passenger side screen can play videos when the vehicle's parked, and when it's moving, it polarizes it so the driver can't see it, but the passenger can keep watching them. As you might expect, the seats have heat, ventilation, and massage, plus speakers in the headrests. In fact, the audio system in here is an AKG system with 38 speakers, but you can get 4 more because there's an executive seating package for the second row that swaps those captain's chairs for fancy chairs like these with the speakers, a center console, and even tray tables that pop out like in first class on an airplane. And since this has an air suspension, that seems kind of appropriate. As far as how comfortable these second row seats are, I'm 6'1" and it fit great. And you've got a touch screen that you can use to close the door with, because who wants to reach all the way over there? And the back row has seating and seat belts for 3. And I can fit back here, although if I was going to be here for a while, I'd probably want to slide that up a couple of inches. But there's also an Escalade IQ L now that adds a couple of inches and also has a square roof line to give you a little more headroom, although I have plenty right now. Even in the standard Escalade IQ, the cargo area is pretty roomy. You can even get some full-size luggage back there. The Escalade IQ also has a dramatically long hood for an SUV, and unlike the other electric Cadillacs, a very large frunk under it with carpeting. So you can put your fancy luggage in there and it'll hold about 3 carry-on bags. Like all of General Motors full-size electric trucks, this has 4-wheel steering, which turns the rear wheels opposite the front, which is great in a parking lot because it makes the turning circle smaller. But this also has a feature called arrival mode that turns the rear wheels in the same direction as the front wheels up to 7.5 degrees to let you just sidle up to the curb without turning in too sharply. Very snazzy way to arrive at a fancy event. If you need to get away from the paparazzi in a hurry, this has a velocity max mode. You engage with this V button on the steering wheel that gives it full power and lets it accelerate to 60 miles an hour in about 5 seconds and do a 1/4 mile in about 13 seconds. This weighs more than 9,000 pounds. Usually if you want to get something that heavy to move that quickly, you have to drop it off a cliff. But even if you don't put your foot all the way to the floor, all of that torque and power moves this around without any effort at all. It's easy to forget how big and heavy it is. Honestly, sometimes I'm driving this and it feels like a teeny tiny economy car. Some of them have to work harder. And even though this is kind of technically a truck, although it's a bit of a gray area, with these electric vehicle chassis, this is a fully independent suspension system. So the ride quality is excellent, even before you start talking about those air springs that just flatten all of the imperfections in the road, even with those big steamroller tires. And the shocks are computer controlled, so they keep the body under control, and you get tour and sport settings to adjust them between comfort and firmness, but it never gets too firm. As you might imagine, this is loaded with every kind of driver aid technology you can think of: 360-degree camera system, head-up display, and a night vision system with a screen here on the instrument cluster. Uses infrared light to keep an eye out for people and animals at night, and all the heat coming off of the cars in front of you. This is also rated to tow up to 8,000 pounds, and while I can't confirm what that does to the range, even if it cuts it in half, that's still 230 miles in about 4 hours worth of driving between charges. And of course, this has Cadillac's hands-free Super Cruise highway driving system, which, if you don't know by now, is a lane tracing adaptive cruise control that can also change lanes automatically to pass slower traffic or when you flick the turn signal stalk. For now, this vehicle is in a class of its own. Nobody else makes a big truck-style electric luxury SUV like this. The closest thing to it really is the Hummer EV SUV, but that only has 2 rows and is an off-roader. Not the street-smart, stylish ride this is. Although they kind of took a sledgehammer approach to get there with the giant battery pack, that 460 miles of range makes all the difference. I drove this from New York City to Poughkeepsie and back, and out here to Western New Jersey, and I'll be heading back, and I won't even come close to using all of that range. In fact, it's delivering exactly the promised efficiency. On a road trip, it's going to save you so much hassle trying to find stations and then wait to charge. And don't forget, one of the major use cases for an Escalade is as a black livery vehicle in the city or an airport shuttle. And 460 miles of range is more than enough to cover a very long shift. And as a bonus, if you're a driver sitting there waiting for your VIP who's an hour late, you can leave the air conditioning on or the heat on without having the engine idling, which is illegal in a lot of places. It's really one of the best features of electric vehicle ownership, and I think parents with kids who play sports and make you wait for them to finish practice will appreciate that as well. There's one thing about this vehicle I don't entirely love. It is the giant panoramic glass roof that pretty much every luxury electric vehicle comes with these days. And like a lot of them, there's no shade for it, and it doesn't even tint. And sometimes when it's sunny, like today, it just gets a little annoying. So the only thing you can do is pull out this manually installed screen, and I guess you gotta jam it in there. I'm not even sure how to do this. You're seeing it for the first time in this video. So it's got these clips, oh here we go, and they sort of slip into the notches up here. There you go. And over there. And I just dropped one, but that one goes in. And I guess I can fiddle with it and fix it. But I'm gonna be honest, that is not luxurious at all.